All right, you've chosen the metabolic health and longevity or the healthy profiles assessments. That's what we have on this particular page. You have some choices. The central test really is the cardiometabolic profile. It's an exercise test where you're hooked up to an O2 CO2 analyzer. And we're actually looking at ventilatory and circulatory and metabolic response to a short exercise ramping protocol. So you either be on a bike or a treadmill, and then we'll ramp up a little bit more load from starting at a pretty low load and try and get you ramped up to a near maximal, if not max effort in about 10 to 15 minutes. During that time, we're really taking in our tools are measuring how much oxygen is coming in through that air that you're breathing in, and then again how much CO2 as a waste product is being blown off. So we're looking at the ventilatory response, and we're able to determine how well your heart's pumping by how much oxygen is being consumed. So this is the delivery through the vasculature and the strength of the heart. And then how well the muscles are actually utilizing that oxygen to do the work. So the test is really set up to evaluate those physiological type responses. And along the way, we're looking at certain trend changes in how you're breathing, specifically with this test, and what we call ventilatory thresholds. So we're going to look at two different thresholds. We're looking at what we call the aerobic and the anaerobic, or ventilatory threshold 1 and ventilatory threshold 2. So 1 is the first threshold that we look at in how your breathing changes is going to be the aerobic threshold, which is where we see the highest fat utilization. So your calories that you're consuming for energy are primarily fat, depending on how well you're trained and recovered. And then the second ventilatory threshold is going to be the anaerobic threshold, which is really looking at the beginning of the end. It's kind of where fatigue really starts to accelerate. If you were training for some type of a time trial, this would represent about 40 to 70 minutes of what you could sustain. So it's really where we start to show signs that fatigue is we're having a hard time really defending against it. And then from then on out, if you're able to, we'll try and push it to the peak, but we don't have to. And this is where we'll find your aerobic capacity, which is your max VO2. So when we know all this information, we can make a lot of determinations, not only on where the different types of metabolic domains are, but also how well your training is coming along or where our need is. So this is all determined through that cardiometabolic profile. And then you're going to get a summary report. This is about a 25-page long report where we're going to flag potential hazards or red flags, as well as identify where you're strong. And then you'll be able to go through this whole profile and really get a good education on what each of the values are representing. So we'll not only give you these benchmarks, but we'll also be able to identify some training zones that are real specific to you. So if we go back to your testing, when you look at the potential possibilities here, you can actually schedule now. And then if you're scheduling the metabolic health and longevity, this is more of our package. It includes the resting energy expenditure as well. So what we do is evaluate a little 10 to 15 minute period of time where you're rested or resting, and we can look at what your caloric needs would be theoretically throughout the whole day. So that's representative of the resting metabolic rate, as well as it gives us a little bit of information about if you're carbohydrate dependent or a fat burner at rest. So that's the whole package. Again, the cardiometabolic profile is not only all of that information related to the exercise test, but we also do a body fat measurement using skin folds. We do some spirometry testing for lung function, and you'll get the baseline blood pressure and heart rate. So again, you can schedule that from the website here, or you can buy now and schedule later. maybe you've got a gift certificate or something like that you'd like to get, so you can purchase the same test down below here. So 2 options as far as setting up the testing. And then finally, you want to click on this link here to go to more information on how you would prepare for the test. If you want to get an idea of what's going to go on during the test and what you have to do to be prepared for it, you can click here and get some more information. All right, let us know if you have any other questions. We'll be glad to follow up with you.